God will protect you if you get to know Him and accept Him in your life in order to keep you from hell. So I want to talk about um, how we think that, when we hear the words God protects you and God loves you and God tries to show you that He's there and all that. A lot of people get turned off by that because they never see it in their lives. Like they think that He's not really there because He doesn't answer and all that. So they think His word is not always true. But His word is in the spirit way of things. When God says in His words and scriptures, or in His words to you or to other people who can hear Him and communicate a certain way, what He's saying is that He's with you in spirit, and if you stay with Him too, He will keep on protecting you. He will keep on guiding you. He'll keep on sending you His love and His guidance, His connection to heaven. Because what matters is after this life, it's returning to heaven. That's what matters. So God's point in all this and in His word is to keep you connected to your spirit so you can return to heaven. So people who give up on God obviously are giving up on themselves because they think that God is supposed to manifest Himself in a physical way because this is a physical world. But, reality check, this is Lucifer's world. So it's not God's world. He won't manifest Himself in physical ways. Or in the way that you live your life physically. He won't just show up or show up in your actions either. He's just with your spirit. He's with your spirit now. He's with your spirit before and after this life. He wants to keep your soul intact, right? He wants to see you go back to heaven. So He's trying to keep a line of communication with everyone who is with Him and who connects to Him and who understands Him. So His point in His word, when He says He wants to protect you, or He does protect you, He loves you, He hears you, He speaks to you, He's doing all that with your spirit. The problem is we can't hear our spirits as well as we can hear our physical bodies and our physical selves. So that's where the problem lies. We have to understand that He's not trying to connect with us physically, He's trying to connect with us spiritually. And because this world is so physical, most of us can't hear Him or communicate so directly that you're like, oh wow, like He's there, right? So you always feel like, is He really there? Well, I don't feel like that, but before I got to this point, I also asked myself about God and all this stuff, right? But it's when I got a really clear communication line with Him that I realized He's with my spirit because He wants to see me go back to heaven. And just because I don't see Him, hear Him, communicate directly to Him, it doesn't mean He's not there. And I do communicate with Him, but it's in other ways, right? Some people can get pretty clear messages from Him. I communicate in different ways with Him, and I know He's there. I know 1,000%, right? Because I have a communication line with Him. And it's because I'm connected to my spirit. So you have to get out of this physical world and not just do that, but you have to get with the truth. So when you get with the truth and you get out of this physical world, and getting with the truth is getting spiritual because it makes you realize all the deceptions of the physical world. So that's why they're tied together so closely. So the truth and your spirit, that's what matters. And God is with you. he is trying to break through all this in between here and heaven. There's all this, all these levels of deception and all these levels of things that aren't true for us. Just thick levels of darkness, right? And deceptions and lies, and it comes from Lucifer, right? And he's trying to keep a connection with us, and he can, and we can too. So he does that for us, and we have to meet him halfway and do that for him too, right? We're all together on this. He's trying to help us, he's trying to guide us, but we have to do the same. So we have to cut through all the BS, right? That's our jobs here on earth. We have to cut through the BS, while he's cutting through all the spiritual nonsense that Lucifer brings to the table, right? So yeah, that's his obstacle with us, is that we are so distracted and deceived by so many things in this world that he has a hard time communicating with most of us, right? But we probably did accept to be here, so it was our choice, so we need to get ourselves out. It's our responsibility to connect to him and to find the way to connect to him. And our souls depend on it. Our souls depend on it. So try to understand that you need to connect with your spirit and with the truth in order to connect to God and in order to get out of here. And don't ever think he's not there. The only reason so many people think he's not there, it's because they're so heavily deceived by this physical world. And it's laid on so thick that we have forgotten who we really are. And we don't always live spiritually. We don't always live in our spirit. We live in our flesh. We live in our body. And there's a lot of things that keep us on that path of living with our body, right? All these superficial things, all these physical things that are just that steer us off our path. So he'll never abandon you. You'll stay with him or abandon him because of this physical illusion, if you choose, right? So he'll never abandon you. It's you who might abandon him because you're not trying to cut through all the BS and everything that's in between here and heaven, which is hard to do. It's very hard, but you can do it. So don't give up on him, because he'll be with you after death. The point of him connecting with us, or keeping connected somehow through his word, through his messengers, through your instincts, through your emotions, the point is that he wants you to come back to heaven. We're family. He loves us. He wants to see us back in heaven. So the point is, he wants to see us after this, and he wants us to know where our home is, and he wants us to live that love and that purity again, right? So he wants us to get back home, but we have to want it too. People lose faith in God when he doesn't show his actions or his love in the physical world, but don't lose faith in him. And it's like that movie. I love this movie, The Ark. It's on YouTube for free, so you should watch it. It's one of my top favorite movies. He says, the messenger that comes to Noah in the movie says, "And remember, Noah, never doubt your faith. Never doubt your faith." And I believe in faith in people. Never doubt your faith in people that you love and that you've loved your whole life. And never doubt your faith in yourself and your connection to God and to heaven. Never doubt your faith. So don't lose faith in God. Never doubt your faith just because he doesn't show himself in this physical world. This physical world is not a real world. It's not reality. Reality is heaven. Reality is outside of this world, after death. So finally, to conclude, I want to tell you never to be scared of death. People are scared of death because they either don't understand it or because they know what's after death, and they know where they're going, right? So people who have done bad, people who have done horrible, horrible things, they fear death because they know where they're going, and it's not pretty. Um, but don't be scared of death, because hopefully for you, it'll be quick. And even if it's not quick, it is worth it if you've done good and if you know that you have your connection with God, and you haven't taken, the mark of the beast, which we know is going to be the microchip or vaccinations, right? It's all part of the same plan. Then you know where you're going. Get with the truth, and you will never be scared of death. Death is not something to be scared of. It's something to not look forward to, like the death part, but the after the death part, going back to heaven, going back to our true family. So never be scared of death. That's very important. So I will leave it at that. I'll talk to you guys later.